everyone. I thought I'd hop on today and share a little bit about my tarot narrative practice. I share the posts on Instagram stories each day, and I just thought it might be of interest to you just to look at my process and practice, and just how I go about the tarot and oracle work that I do. It's a really important part of my intuitive practice. It's been, as I've gone through my transition journey, working on my intuition's been absolutely a key part of that. I'm a person who has a intuition as a dominant in my personality, but I think with all the work that I was doing out in the external world, my second in charge extroverted thinking sort of took over, and whilst I obviously was working out of my intuitive introverted intuitive preference, it wasn't as strong as it could have been. And it's a bit like any form of exercise or fitness. It's something that you need to develop like a muscle and just keep working on it so that it's a powerful force in your life. So whether you're naturally intuitive, strengthen that intuition. If you're more a sensing person, someone who works with the real world data, facts, and not so intuitive, it's a great way to open up intuition as a complementary skill that you can develop in your life. So I do my tarot work each morning, and it's a combination of tarot and oracle work, but the main thing is it's about intuition. And I start with just a little affirmation that I believe came from Victoria Smith, my work with her on the oracle, and it is: I bless you, and in the name of Spirit I ask for your guidance. Show me what I cannot see, confirm what I know, and help me that I may serve the highest good of all. And just saying those words as I sort of come into the practice and into the space is just really helpful for just remembering what it's about. It's about connecting with spirit. It's about guidance. It's about tapping into inner wisdom, what we can't see. And it's also about confirming what we know. Often we do sort of have a gut sense, or we know something, and often working with cards or any other form of intuitive work can just strengthen our self-knowledge and our self-leadership and our self-understanding. And then help me that I may serve the highest good of all. It's just remembering it's not just about us, although our work can certainly help others, but it's about how our place in the world and how our practice can help connect with others, how we can connect with spirit, and how we can support others. And that's why too I've chosen to share my tarot narrative readings, which I do most days, on Instagram and Facebook, because I think that if I'm doing this work and I'm getting guidance whilst I'm the one doing the work, I'm also a channel for others, and for sharing that that wisdom that is coming to me. And a lot of people, a lot of you connect with me, some of you every day, and I'm thankful for that. Just to say, oh, thank you, really appreciate your cards, or that resonated with me, and I really love that interaction. And it's I really appreciate that. And it's nice to know that the work that I'm doing for myself and also for you is reaching you and has an impact. So that's the first thing I do. And then I have 2 packs that I work with, and I usually have one tarot pack that I switch around, but often work with for a while because you sort of get a feel for it. And currently I'm working with the beautiful Spacious Tarot. You'll have seen those cards in the tarot narrative deck. It's a really, really beautiful deck. It has no people in it, so it's, for me, it's lovely. It's sort of about opening spacious thoughts and very open thoughts without being fixed to people in a way. So it's actually been a really beautiful deck to work with in this time when we are sort of a bit more isolated and perhaps working on ourselves a bit more. But it's a lovely independently created deck. Beautiful guidebook too. You can see that there. Beautiful artwork. So it's by Carrie Mallon and Annie Royt. I think Annie's the artist. Beautifully done. And I always use for my oracle deck the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. So you'll see there's 3 cards, 2 tarot and 1 oracle card, and it just works for me because I love the interplay. I love that it creates a story. So each card has its own meaning, but as you sort of work through them, often what comes out with one card will be, sometimes the 2 tarot cards will have a meaning, and then the oracle one will just provide a completely different perspective. Sometimes the oracle card picks up on the themes of one of the other tarot cards. So yeah, it's interesting. So I'll draw the cards. I won't go through too much of the interpretation. I'll just perhaps share a little bit of what comes up for me. I do read the guidebook too. I try and tap into my own intuition first and just get a sense of what that's about. And I work with the 2 tarot cards first and get a sense of that. And I do write it in a book journal each day. And then I work on the oracle card separately, because I sort of find sometimes the oracle just brings in another dimension or a new twist or a really strong affirmation. So I will just get into the space. So I bless you in the name of Spirit. I ask for your guidance. Show me what I cannot see. Confirm what I know, and help me that I may serve the highest good of all. So I usually shuffle, and then I usually just split the deck once. And then just take the top 2 cards off the bottom. So we have the Tower. Yeah, if you know about the Tower is actually a really strong card. It was a card that I was sort of the card of the year when I had my huge year of transition and change. And it's if you look at the imagery of it, you can see the huge lightning bolt. In this case, it's a tower of rocks on a beach or in a landscape. And yes, it's just suggesting immediately looking at that what's built there might not be super strong, might be under attack a bit, or something coming in to influence that situation, and maybe that's going to shake things up a bit. Usually the Tower is about shaking things up, and often in a pretty fundamental, foundational way. So yeah, interesting card. I haven't drawn the Tower for a long time, but there was a time, as I said, in 2000 and I think it was 2016 or 17, but the year when lots was changing. Everything changed in my life. My work changed, my family changed, how my income changed, everything. So often when this card comes up, it can mean either something's changing, or having a good look at what might need to change, or how you might adapt to what's coming, and how you can strengthen your energy around that. And the other card, is the Fool. We have 2 major arcana cards today. So the Fool, so it's a bit hard with the light. It's a Fool. Yeah, it's a beautiful card, and with the Fool from the Spacious Tarot, you can see it's a really open landscape, and open skies, plenty of space. And the Fool is about new beginnings, so that sort of ties in with the Tower, in that perhaps what we know is a little bit shaky or needs to change. And then the Tower is this beautiful open landscape, sunrise skies. For me, the Fool's often about having a beginner's mind. So whatever it is you're doing or thinking, maybe it's about getting a new perspective on it, and removing preconceptions. And that fits. Often you'll find when you're doing the reading, as you're sort of thinking about it and build your skill over time. This morning I've been thinking about my own coaching skills. I'm doing some more training in a different area around coaching mastery, and it's with a master coach who's worked with the Australian Institute of Sport, who's really skilled, and it's fantastic. But I also have, I've done this other training. I've got sort of a system that I'm working on, and there's other beautiful skill trainings coming in and shaking all that up. But having a beginner's mind is actually a reminder of just, sometimes when we're learning new things, we can think, this doesn't fit with what I know. How am I going to integrate all this information? But with the Fool, it gives us a lovely feeling of, take that information in, see what you can do with it. How can you create something new or special or different? How can you bring this beautiful alchemy of skills and knowledge that you have and the experience that you've developed in new ways? So I'll do a bit more reflection on these and read the guidebooks as well, because I like to use my own intuition, but I do find being a reading wisdom person, I do find the wisdom from reading the guidebooks to be beautiful. So just quickly from the Tower, but it's amazing to have 2 major arcana cards. The Tower, the keywords are breakthrough, collapse, and chaos. so you can see, you know, it's not all negative. It's just about the nature of what is. And none of the cards are negative in themselves. They're just messages and wisdom we can tap into. And the Fool is about potential, leap, and adventure. So that's great. It's that, you know, maybe something's changing. How can I take forward into a new way and make a bit of a leap on, you know, my skills? How can you make a bit of a leap on how you're working? Okay, so here's the Wisdom of the Oracle cards. I don't do reversals on the tarot, but for the Wisdom of the Oracle, I have them both up and down, and the reversed card is a protection message, and the other is more about different messages of relationships and prosperity and things like that. So again, I usually just shuffle and cut. And the beautiful card that's come up is All That Glitters. So this is a reminder that whatever we're thinking about or working on or doing, just to look beyond the surface. So it's a reminder that the things that we are attracted to might not be what they seem. You know, maybe we're looking at going for every shiny new thing and not just working on what we need to be working on. It's that same sort of energy that makes you want to go and buy clothes when you've already got a cupboard full, buy courses when you've already got heaps of courses, and it's also about just seeing beyond the surface and not being drawn to things that are not real in our work. So that's a really interesting card. So when you put that three together, you've sort of got that narrative, which I'll you know, take a photo of them and share it on Instagram and Facebook. But you have that idea of, you know, when I put the narrative together for myself, it's that idea that things are changing. Maybe there's something new coming in. It might not be as strong a foundation as you'd like. What can you do about that? What's the words they used? What's the breakthrough, collapse, or chaos? Yeah, so that's a nice idea too, of thinking about, you know, what's the breakthrough? How can you break through this situation? How can you use a beginner's mind to work through what's important? And I think that idea of All That Glitters too is also about seeing all the shiny things outside and not relying on your own wisdom. So for me, I think putting that message together, it's very much about, personally for me, relying on my own wisdom in what I'm doing, being able to integrate the information that I'm learning and working on so that I can take it forward to serve and to be of value to other people, to share, you know, messages of inner wisdom, to be a deeper and richer coach, and yeah, not to be distracted, I think, by all the things that aren't real for me. So I hope that's of interest, just to see how I pull all that together in the process. And I'll try and hop on, you know, maybe once a week and just do the reading live, just to share my practice. And I do find that I guess because of the work that I do, and that intuition's a big part of my personality and my work, is that people are drawn to me who are interested in exploring intuition in a deeper way as part of their resources, inner wisdom. And I think, you know, our culture's not, it's a very sensing culture, just as it's a very extroverted culture. So if you're introverted and intuitive, like INTJs, myself, INFJs, generally, often just being able to tap into inner wisdom via things like tarot and oracle and whatever works for you. In the coaching that I do, we would work on finding what works for you, the decks that work for you. It might not be cards, it might be working with crystals, or it might be healing work, whatever is your particular alchemy or toolkit. And we use that as a way of really strengthening our inner wisdom and moving forward in conjunction with other goals. Might be creativity goals to, or vocational goals, or removing blocks goals, anything that's mindset goals that have held you back. So that's the sort of work that I do. So hope that's of interest. Love to hear feedback in the comments or via DM, and it's always great to hear from you. Thanks for all your connection. Lots of love. Bye.